Have you ever said something you regretted? Sent the text anyway? Snapped at someone? Walked away thinking, that's not how I wanted to show up? We all have. The problem isn't that we have emotions. The problem is that most of us were never taught what to do with them. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Yvette, and I am a certified social and emotional intelligence coach. And on this channel, we talk all things emotional intelligence. And today we are talking about a highly sought after skill. Self-regulation, emotional regulation is what you might have heard it called. And I want to tell you very quickly why it matters. When you are able to control your emotions and self-regulate, you are likely to have better relationships, better communication, better parenting, better leadership, better confidence. Okay, you get it. A better life, right? Emotional intelligence is a difference maker, and that's why it is worth developing the skill of self-regulation. So your question might be, well, what is emotional regulation, self-regulation? First of all, emotional regulation, self-regulation falls in the quadrant of self-management for the emotional intelligence quadrant model. So that means that it's all about self. We're not including other people in this one. This is all about us. With that being said, a formal definition is simply creating enough space between what you feel and what you do. Creating enough space between what you feel and what you do. Essentially, responding instead of reacting. Responding instead of reacting. How many of us wish that we would have responded to something instead of reacting to it? I want to give you 3 steps that can help you to get closer to responding instead of reacting. Because remember, who taught us this stuff? No one. But it's okay because we're learning now. The first step is to know where you want to grow. Self-awareness is in the first quadrant of emotional intelligence and is the cornerstone of everything related to emotional intelligence. Everything starts with self. If you are self-aware enough, you have an opportunity to understand your gaps, your shortcomings, the places where you know you explode instead of respond, where you yell instead of speak directly, where you check out instead of staying in a hard conversation. And so the easiest thing to do is to reflect. And reflection looks a lot of different ways. Journaling, pausing, scheduling time, which is my favorite because being intentional about it. My invitation in my self-awareness video is to spend 5 to 10 minutes a day, but don't think it's gonna happen or you're gonna remember. Schedule it, plan for it, and then you have an opportunity to pause and think about your day. Think about how that meeting went. Think about that phone conversation that you didn't really like and you got uncomfortable after it was over. Reflect on those things. Think about how you showed up. Think about the topic. You find your kind of trigger spots, right? The only way that you're going to be able to regulate yourself is to know what needs to be regulated. And so you have to collect data of sorts, right? You need to collect some data. And the first stop is to know where you want to grow. If you're unsure, ask a few people, but this is going to be the starting place. So this is your first step. The second step is to identify your trigger spots. And so what that means is that you've collected a little bit of data and now you have an opportunity to step back and look for patterns. Think about it from the standpoint of people, places, and situations. So for example, the person might be your boss. The place might be in their office. The situation might be your performance review. And so when you can look at this chart and kind of identify these 3 spots, you'll start to recognize your trigger spots. Every time I meet with my boss at work in their office, I walk out feeling like I showed up in a way that I didn't want to. That's data for you. And when you have that data, I like to say when you have data, you can be dangerous. But when you have that data, you can then do something about it. When you have to go to a family member's house who you have an uncomfortable relationship with, when you are forced to go to an event that you don't want to, all of those things are data. So identify your trigger spots. Once you've identified your trigger spots, my favorite and final step for us is to build a pause system. Build a pause system. And so the thing is that if you watch other self-regulation videos, they're going to say you should pause. I guarantee you, it's one thing to know you should pause, right? I want to pause in between when there's a stimulus and then my ability to pause before I either respond or react. Except who taught me how to do that, and how am I going to get better at it? So the thing is don't rely on your memory or willpower, because they'll fail you every time when you get emotionally charged. Instead, build a system. Think of something like a visual cue, something that you can see that triggers you to pause. Okay, so that might be a sticky note, a bracelet that you made, a watch reminder, a calendar alert that's scheduled for that exact time when you're in the meeting with your boss, because you know that this environment, this person, this topic is a trigger. And then it becomes an opportunity for you to have a reminder. Okay, pause. Okay, think before you speak. We know these things until we are emotionally aroused. And so that is an opportunity for you to create a pause system. If you can't or you don't have a visual cue, you can always pay attention to your body. Oftentimes your body is going to be the first sign that you are going to be getting closer to reacting than responding. Your heart starts to beat faster, you're sweating, you're shaking, your voice is trembling. Any of those things are data. They're telling you something. Okay, I'm feeling emotionally charged. I may need to pause. I may need to step back. I may need to table this conversation because right now I am triggered. Okay, build a pause system. I love this one because it's practical and it's actually helping you to develop a skill. The goal here is not perfection. The goal is to have one less experience where you reacted instead of responding. That is a win. On this channel, we always have a 3-day challenge. In the next 3 days, I challenge you to identify one of your triggers, right? A person, a place, and a situation, and decide how you will build a pause system. And then do an experiment. Try it and see. And the best thing that will happen is that you'll pause, and the worst thing that will happen is that you'll learn. Either way, you will be developing the skill of emotional intelligence. If you found this video to be valuable, I'd like for you to like, subscribe, comment, do all of the things, and keep happening to life. Take care.